Hello and welcome to the Justice Factor. At least 84 South Africans have died after a building collapsed at the Southside Prophet TB Joshua Synagogue Church of All Nations in Nigeria. The latest death toll now stands at 115. Why do people flock to this so-called prophet who claims to have brought back a man from the dead and even cures HIV/AIDS? My guests today are Archbishop Stephen Zondo from Rivers of Living Waters Ministries and Simon Allison of the Daily Maverick. After that discussion, we'll name our winner and our very big loser of the week. But first, we'll analyze some of the week's big political stories with political scientist Professor Somadoda Fikeni. Professor Fikeni, welcome to the show. Let me start with this big story that everyone's talking about, TB Joshua, the so-called prophet from Nigeria. Why do South Africans, and so many of them, flock to these churches, particularly in Nigeria, to be healed? What does it say about me and about you and about this country?
Well, any country that is going through so many difficulties from many angles, the family structure being weakened, the community weakened, unemployment, economic crisis and so forth, against the backdrop of many hopes and aspirations that people had as dividends of liberation, are most likely going to flock into any person who promises instant answers and miracles. That's where South Africans find themselves. It happened with Nongqawuse so many years ago. It happened with Reverend Jones. And this phenomenon is linked with a time of great uncertainty or great difficulty that is.
Are you saying South Africa is going through a time of great uncertainty and difficulty?
Oh, certainly, without any doubt. If you look at unemployment, inequality, and you look at where South Africans thought they were going to be at this particular stage of our democracy, you find a sense of disappointments in many areas, hence protests. And when they look at different options or vision that inspires them, there is nothing that is immediate. They look at the political leaders. They find a theater in parliament, for example. In the campaigns, they find exchange of insults at times. So this drama is playing into the psyche, a wounded psyche of a nation that is searching for answers. And that is the reason why charismatic churches have found growth in this country exponentially. Are
you telling me that if South Africa's growth, GDP growth pattern, for example, had gone from the very bad place it was in 1994 to 3% to the 5.8% that it was at in 2006, 2007, and had continued to go up, we wouldn't have such eruptions of people going off to find salvation, prosperity in these kinds of activities?
Not only the economy, remember the crime rate, the rape, remember the family structure that in some instances has actually eroded. And many other factors, HIV/AIDS, you put it into the stew. So multiple challenges in a nation that had started on a high, literally a hysteria of expectation, great expectations, and now they begin to have a sense of uncertainty. The economic crisis and a country that has stagflation, literally. It's all those things combined that create uncertainty.
Just one practical issue, South Africa and Nigeria. Throughout the 2000s, President Mbeki and Olusegun Obasanjo worked together. Democracy flourished on the continent. What is this particular incident going to do to the relations between South Africa and Nigeria?
It has strained that relationship somewhat because you see the distance between the two countries in the very first week of this particular crisis. You didn't see synergy, you didn't see organic relationship. But again, understand that Nigeria is going through its own challenges with Boko Haram, with the elections coming in a few months, and President Goodluck Jonathan feeling besieged in a way. So that in itself is also playing its own part, but with two giants in the continent also contesting for number one spot, and Nigeria feeling that with the regrading of their GDP, they are now in a stronger position. And with South Africa on the other side having lost its bragging rights, those things can create a bit of tension. The search for the seat in the UN Security Council, all those things quietly, though these countries may be trying to work together at face value, underneath there's a lot of jostling. Let's
talk about the theater you spoke about, our parliament, where the EFF has been putting the ANC under pressure. There's been insult, there's been fingers shown to the deputy president, there's been all kinds of things. Is this good for democracy, for the institution of parliament?
It's not good at all. And some people might for a moment just be happy that finally you find people to embarrass a president or deputy president and the rules have been flouted. It's good to keep people accountable and that robustness. But it's not okay to disregard the rules. Remember, this is a lawmaking body, not a law-breaking body.
Indeed.
Now, if you allow that, it's a slippery slope. Remember, EFF has a program not only in parliament with land, with mines and so forth. You might rejoice today, tomorrow they go and take a farm. You start saying, no, I didn't mean that you go that far. So I think, and do not justify the means. We should always know that the rules are very important. And if you feel that the rules are not okay, you have a procedural mechanism to deal with that. But there is another dimension though. ANC has to make sure, and the government, that you do not allow so many problems, Nkandla, NPA, SABC, spy tapes, you name it, to congest and have a shelf life for such a long time without a decisive solution. At some point, frustrations and people may actually exploit that.
But that is what is happening, because the Nkandla issue, for example, has been trundling on since 2009.
Certainly that's the case, but would we say it justifies any response? That's the key thing.
Tell me about the sustainability of these tactics by the EFF. Are people going to get bored and move away?
Not really, but the only problem with these strategies is that you may end up in the courts, maybe the EFF is disciplined and so forth. Instead of building their branches and their base, they get trapped in this particular manner. But it's not stopping there. Usually parties that start displaying this culture of defiance, not adhering to rules, when they want to organize their conferences now and their own programs, they find the same elements who say, no, this is the right way to do things. And they start corroding from within because of the lack of discipline.
Somadoda Fikeni, I wish we could go on, but we've run out of time. Thanks so much for your time. It's always lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
Still to come, Simon Allison and Archbishop Stephen Zondo on the popularity of TB Joshua.